First you can't get him on it, and then you can't get him off it.
Yay, choir. Yay, choir. Wonderful. Well, welcome to the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. Welcome to our music, our wondrous consciousness. Welcome to our wonderful community. And I'm Reverend Katherine Saux. I'm a staff minister here, and we have a wonderful guest speaker for you today because our senior minister, Reverend Carol Huntley, is at home recovering wonderfully from her hip surgery, and I got a text from her this morning who said to please share her love with everyone. She's doing quite well, and we send her our love right back. Now, are you a first-time visitor? I'd like to welcome everyone who's here visiting for the first time, or even those of you who've been away for a long time and who may be coming back to say, how are they doing out there? So we have a couple of members here who are from our membership team. So if you are, in fact, a first-time visitor and would like to know a little bit more about us, please raise your hand and we will put a present in your hand, okay? Little packets that tell you about us, so please do. Anyone here? Oh, wonderful. We've got some wonderful visitors. And in that packet, there is a blue card that if you fill out with your information and give it to these beloved people, you will get a book called How to Speak Science of Mind, and it tells you some really interesting information about us and the science of mind principles. So please do that, and they will be available, Suzanne, right, after service, okay? Thank you. Before we get started, I'd also like to let you know that we have marvelous practitioners at our prayer table. In fact, would you please stand up so I can introduce you to people and they can really see you? Yeah, this is a different thing. We have Joyce Thompson, Trish Brady, Leslie Giannetti, and Jane Jennings. These are marvelous people. Yeah. Our practitioners are second to none, I am telling you. So if you have something on your mind, something that you would like to get rid of in your life because it causes you pain, or something that you want more of in your life, our practitioners are there for you. So please see them after service for prayer, all right? And look at this altar. Luzzette and the altar come together as a team. You notice that? And this is another glorious creation by Gailya. Isn't it beautiful? It's lovely. Yeah. Now, I would like to remind everyone that this is the year that we are focusing on values-based spiritual living. And the theme for this July is open communication. And today we have Reverend Luzzette McDonald, and I understand that she is known to some of you here in the community who have been around for a while, and because I don't know her, I had to ask her to please send me her bio. And she did that, but it's on here, and I need to... So I'm going to introduce you to her now. Isn't she beautiful? Yeah. Reverend Dr. Luzzette graduated from Ernest Holmes College in Huntington Beach way back in 1994. She looks a lot younger than that. She was a practitioner with Dr. Peggy Bassett in 1985, and then one of the first 7 practitioners at Agape in 1987. She served as the spiritual director of the Spiritual Enrichment Center in San Rafael from 94 to 2000. She's married to Dr. Robert McDonald. They co-created the Telos? Thank you. Healing Center in Southern California with centers in Louisiana and Holland. I mean, that's like Holland over there? Holland over there. Holland over there. Wow. And they gave both of these centers to the destination method that helps people resolve unnecessary suffering. Reverend Dr. Luzzette served as a spiritual psychologist at the Irvine Center for New Medicine and in the Oncology Healing Center for over 7 years. She is a facilitator overseeing workshops and retreats and speaks to communities across the country. She provides private consultations and ceremonies of all kinds. Reverend Luzzette inspires people to be authentic and light their fire. I like that. By insisting them to be free of any blocks that keep them from expressing their heart's desires. And so today, pardon me. Please welcome.
To say, didn't she do a beautiful job? What a beautiful being. Thank you. Thank you. You know, oh, hello, everyone. I mean, to come in and sit here and start to cry to begin with, I thought, this is so wonderful being here in community with my beloved community. Many of you I know, many of you I'm meeting now, and I see and behold God within all of you. You know, it's so important that we come together and worship together and speak together and communicate and learn together. You know, studies have shown that when you're with community, you live a longer, healthier life. So it's so great to know that you're here and will continue to show up. And Reverend Carol is so divine. I totally believe in divine order. Now, normally, like I'll communicate with her, and she's booked for a year out. And when we knew we were coming up here in July, I thought, oh, well, I'll just see, you know. And so I texted her, and I didn't hear from her. I thought, oh, well, let it be. Divine right order is taking place. And then I heard from her when she got back from being in Ireland. Oh, Scotland. She's Scotland. That's right. And she said, yes, she'd love for me to speak. And I couldn't believe it. So then we talked, and I found out why. It was a perfect opening and opportunity. And I was called forth. And so I'm so happy to be here. So I was sitting there and smiling and feeling all these feelings of spirit move through me. It reminded me of a time when I took a singing lesson, and I stood up and I sang, "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning," my favorite song. And as I was singing it, you know, I smiled the whole time. And afterwards, the teacher said, well, Luzzette, that was good, but you can't get away with singing a song just by smiling. Guess what? I quit the class. See, to me, it was like, you did it wrong, right? And it was like, oh no, I really can't sing. I better get out of this, right? So I stopped myself in that joy because I thought I couldn't smile. So to sitting here today, I thought, you know, I almost feel like just standing here and just smiling at you all the whole time. You know, go beyond. It's to go beyond past beliefs and awarenesses or lessons or things that happen that ever holds me back or holds you back. I mean, that's what we're all about. Our main teaching in Science of Mind that Ernest Holmes, the genius, gave birth to in the early 1900s is that God is all there is. I mean, that's the metaphysical principle, the truth that I stand on, that we stand on, or we move in spirit by. But it's like, okay, yeah, that's the truth. Well, how do we work with our human minds, right? Our thinking that can be stinking at times. Remind me of Jim telling Joe of differences. And today my talk is about honoring the differences. And that's really a task, isn't it? That's really something to aspire to. How can I keep honoring the differences of someone else? And there's a lot that goes on in the world that gives us that opportunity, isn't there? Yes? Yes, to honor differences. How do we truly see God through the appearance that looks really horrible, bad, sad, drastic, traumatic? You know, we have all different things individually we live through and collectively as a whole in the world. So to be able to come back home to this idea, to this truth, that God lives in me and has its being in me. She is so good, isn't she? All the time. So it's like, how do I remember this? So there's many, many things to do because there's going to be times in your life when you're going to be experiencing the differences. So how we can honor the differences is to be aware that our thinking is what creates our reality. Ernest Holmes said it beautifully in the very beginning, you know. It is truly our thinking that creates our reality. Change your thinking and you change your life. So we have to be awake. We have to be aware of our thinking. And our thinking gives us different views of awareness because we will see white and black. We'll see tall and short. We'll see good and bad. I mean, that's what we are doing with our human mind. That's what it's about. So we're at choice, though. That's the good news, right? We don't need to be stuck in a certain cell or prison or situation, we know there's a way out. And that's the beauty of our philosophy, to know that there is a way for total healing with everything physically, mentally, in world of effects, but it's up to you to do it. And it's up to me to do it. And so when we take responsibility, I think that's one of the core teachings that we have here, to take responsibility for our life. It doesn't mean that you blame yourself for what happens. You know, if your mind starts telling you how horrible you are and you have that inner critic come up, any of you ever have an inner critic? Hey, mine was waking me up last night on what to wear today. I have never gone through that. It was really interesting. And there was a part of me, I had like 3 outfits chosen. I've never even been that way. And so now I understand why. Huh?
Look behind
Yeah.
you.
Because I'm going to tell you, I was resisting this top, and now I have to show it to you because I decided I got to come out and be authentic. Look at this. Hand painted from Bali. One of the religious science wonderful beings lives in Bali, and I got this at Ricky Byers' Goddess workshop a couple years ago. So, but I was resisting it because I thought, I can't show up like thinking I'm an angel. Well, in pondering deeper in our teaching and really realizing truth, right? First, we think we are human beings having a human experience. Then we moved into, I think Wayne Dyer really made this big in the world, God bless his soul. We are human beings having a spiritual experience. And then as we go deeper within our own teachings, in your own world, and really get to know yourself and to know God within, God is divine, all that is, the wisdom and the love that fully fills you, to go within that and to embrace it and know it, you understand that you're a spiritual being having a spiritual experience. Isn't that great? It's like, yeah, let's walk in that light. So I want everybody to go out and buy angel outfits. Join me. Let's find a way to bring lightness to the world, isn't it? What is the saying? That when you're like an angel, you fly lightly, right? So how to be light, how to be light givers. You know, Course of Miracles. Oh, I love the Course of Miracles. How many of you have done the Course of Miracles? I did it in 1980 when I was first moving to Los Angeles after a year before my first husband committed suicide. So I had a deep journey to experience, and I knew I had to leave my homeland because I had to keep showing up as everything was okay to make everybody feel okay, right? I needed to go through my changes, and so I chose the Course of Miracles as that year of travel. And it was really life-changing. Then I got deeper into art studies. I became a practitioner, became a minister. I thought, why isn't everybody becoming a minister? You know, so it's what it's all about. So I know that, as Ernest Holmes said, as you study our teachings and learn the principles, that you all are practitioners. And those that dedicate themselves to the study to become a practitioner and to pray for you all, to hold you in high ideas, is magnificent. So we want to honor practitioners, ministers, and all of you that are here. I honor all of you. Because it's real important for us to see through illusions and see the truth, to bring this world into a higher vibration and higher love, a balance, in a way in which all beings can have a happy life. Now we know it's up to everyone individually to do that. And that's what's important too. As we honor differences, we don't need to rescue everyone, but we can be the living example to bring that about. Which reminds me of this man who stood up one night in front of the congregation and said, I really have got to tell you how I honor God, and I'm so grateful for God in my life, how I've been blessed. So I'm a very, very wealthy man, and I really attribute it all to God. And it was because one night I went to a service, and there was a missionary talking about how important it is to give, to tithe, to really be able to give the money to others to help, and then give without wanting anything, but there is the law that it will all come back to you, pressed down, multiplied, running over, but the important part is to give. So this man, this very wealthy man, he said, so I gave all my earnings I had just made I gave him my dollars. And he said, now I am a millionaire. And so I want to praise God. I want you all to give thanks to God and to give all that you can. And he went and he sat down. And this little old lady on the pew next to him moves over and she goes, you know, that was a great story. But I dare you to give it all now. Give it away. Give it to the church. He didn't say anything. So how daring are you to go all the way? You know, faith is like when you're jumping out of an airplane and you've got the parachute on you. You have faith, right? Then when you pull the cord, the parachute will open. So it takes a lot of faith to move into higher realms of thinking, of higher realms of being the expression of God here on earth. And not worrying about, as Terry Cole Whitaker so beautifully said, when anybody thinks about me, it's none of my business, right? So here I am. So we want to be able to use our teachings in a way that brings about a beneficial difference in the world. And one of the things that the Course of Miracles teaches, what is constant throughout it, is forgiveness. Because it's by forgiving that we can let go of the perceived source of the pain that has happened, to let it go. Because you can't change the past. As the Buddha said, if you're angry still at someone and you're holding a hot coal and you're ready to throw it on them, who's getting burned? So it's very important on our life's path to forgive daily, all the time. Keep releasing, letting go. And a lot of times I work with my patients, my clients, and I'll say, if they'll go, forgive that so-and-so, I'm not going to do that. You know, up comes everything, every image, every memory that they absolutely would never forgive someone. And I'll say, well, can you be willing to forgive? And then they may go, well, I don't know, I'll think about that. And I said, well, will you be willing to forgive? And they go, okay, well, I can sort of go there, right? So you make some steps forward in it. Because by forgiving, you can really shine your light of love in the world. And you can help free up so many people that you don't even know what you're doing. It reminds me of the story of Tony and the tiger. Tony was a young man that lived way up in the mountains. And he would look at picture books every day, and he would look at these animals, and he would see tigers, and he'd see elephants, and he'd see giraffes, and he was just thrilled. He goes, gosh, I got to get to a zoo to see these animals. Now, he had a lot of cats in his house and dogs around because he loved animals so. So when he saved up enough money, he got a plane ticket, and then he got on the plane, then he got on the train, and then he got on a bus to get to the zoo. And he walks in the zoo, and he goes, oh, here I am. Everything I visualized, I'm here now. I'm doing it. I'm being a part of this beautiful animal life. And he goes around, he's looking at the animals and all, and then he gets to where the tiger is, and he puts his hand in, and he goes, hi, pussy, kitty, and he gets bit, and he falls down to the ground, and he's bleeding, and they come and they wrap him up and fix his arm, goes to the hospital, then he goes home. And then at home he goes, you know, never going back there again. And then he met somebody, and he said, I got to really work on this. I got to heal. And the person said, well, you've got to forgive and forget it. You've got to get to that place of forgiveness so you'll be healthy. And he goes, okay. So he did everything he could to forgive and forget, and he did. So then he decided he'd go again. And so he got the plane ticket, the train, the bus ride. He did all of it to get there to the zoo. He walks into the zoo, and he's looking at the animals, and he's so excited again. And he knew he had forgiven and forgotten. And he goes over, and he sees the tiger, and he puts his hand in and says, hi! And again, he got bit, and he fell down to the ground. He goes, they wrapped him up, took him to the hospital. He got back on the bus, the train, the plane. He's back home, and he goes, okay, this forgive and forget doesn't work. I'm not going to do this anymore. Well, then he met someone that was by the name of Luzzette, Dr. Luzzette. And he went to her, and he was working on healing himself and being able to restore his sense of trust in the world. And so she told him that what's important is to forgive and remember. You forgive the tiger. The tiger's the tiger, right? But you remember his character. You don't go sticking your hand back into the cage. He's going to do what a tiger's going to do. She said, well, the difference is you've got the being, which is perfect. The tiger is perfect, whole, complete, and perfect, just wonderful. And you've got the behavior. So you're at choice. If you want to forgive, yes, but you remember the behavior so you don't stick your hand back in. And then you're always at choice, as with all people, whether you want to continue communication the same way it was or not, or watch your guard, but you can really love the being. And that's the whole essence of forgiveness. You love the being. You don't blame them. You don't hold, it's not the tiger's fault, right? You forgive. You see this beautiful tiger, but you remember. So then he got the plane ticket, train, bus ride, gets back there to the zoo. He walks in and he sees all the animals and he's so happy and he's just feeling the divine light everywhere and seeing spirituality everywhere in every being and person he passed. And then he goes to the tiger cage and he said, "Hi, tiger, I know who you are and you're beautiful just the way you are, but I'm not going to pet you because I remember." So that is a way to remember, right? And for me, that story was so profound in my life. It made a turning point because I always tried to forgive and forget. Do you ever do that? You try to forgive and forget. And it's like, wow, yeah, I can see the divine. I can see through the illusions. I can see through character that's even been misappropriate, but I can see the divine in that person. It doesn't mean that I have to hang out with them. But I can really feel free, and then I can see him and talk to him or her and be free. Because it's very important that we see the eyes of God in everyone. I'd like you to turn to a partner right now. Turn to someone sitting by or find somebody, please. I want you to use your eyes of God now. And I want you to look into their eyes, see the whole being, and say, "You are amazing. You are brilliant. You are a genius. You're an amazing lover of life. You are healthy and wealthy. You are gifted. I know you from long ago. You've come to shine your light. And I'm here to remind you. Let's go beyond our limited beliefs. You can do it. You can be, do, and have what you want. Now give them a high five or a hug. That's right. That's seen with the eyes of God. That's seen it. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to say to yourself when you see people. Emma Curtis Hopkins said that whenever anybody complained about anything or told what was going on, and as the great practitioner and teacher of teachers she was in the early 1900s, she said that she would always say inside, "Tain't so, tain't so." So she didn't go in, she didn't buy into what they were saying. She didn't even buy in if she would meet someone and start to think something about him, the inner critic would come up, she'd go, "Tain't so, tain't so." That's something that I've done all my life, and I really like it. Because it's a way to be able to remember, right? We want to remember. You can remember very simply from just the first 2 steps of our spiritual mind treatment. God is, I am. Sometimes that's my mantra, that it just keeps me on course so I don't get off course and go into gloom or sadness or fear. I have never found any help in that. I have never been able to resolve a problem being in the state of fear and upset. Have you? So as we need to be able to go into the light, that's time, sometimes in your life, you've got to meditate more. Go in, as Jesus said, into the closet and close the door. Go up to the Hindus or the meditators and gurus who go to the cave, so you can have that deep inner awareness of your divine light and then join in with the world. Sometimes we go through physical challenges just to be learning the lesson. Every spiritual teaching teaches us that. You're always to ask, what is it that I'm learning? What is it that I'm being guided into. Because whatever happens in your life, you're shedding away the old beliefs, the limited beliefs, the old ways of being to merge into the light, into the newness. In fact, as I did that, let's all stand up a moment. Okay? And I'd like for you to make a V sign. Yeah, well, with your hands, right? So now our symbol, I don't think it's up there, but our symbol for religious science is the V, and what it represents is spirit up above. So I want you to look up, and I want you to imagine looking through the roof, into the sky, and beyond that, into the stars, into the galaxies, and become aware of the infinite presence that is, the divine intelligence that created everything, that is in everything. And as you're embracing this and experiencing this and saying within God is, say that out loud even, God is, God is, God is divine. Say what comes to you. God is love. God is life. God is all there is. God is the intelligence. God is beauty. God is the creator. And then now I want you to bring down this awareness. Bring it down into the top of your head, the crown of your head, down through your head and face. Bring it down. Say, God is I am. Now say, I am. Bring it down in. And I have this body, and I am whole, complete, and perfect. I am whole, complete, and perfect. Say that with me, please. Affirm it. I am whole, complete, and perfect. So you bring it in and you just feel it and you just move your body and go, yes, yes, yes. You can bring your hands to your heart and say, yes, I am love. I am love intelligence. I am awake now in the divine. I am the divine. I release and I let go of anything that's held me back from feeling this. I now feel it. I know it. I am it. And I give thanks for this. Thank you. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, Infinite Spirit, Divine Life. And collectively, as we say, and so it is. And you may be seated. So there's a wonderful exercise and way for you to experience the divine light. You know, in Qigong, they have an energy experience, a process like that, where they pull down the universal energy, the pure energy into the body, into the chi. And then they let go of anything that is unlike that into the ground. Okay? So there's ways of cleansing your body. A spiritual one that I teach, and at the Center for New Medicine, there's a lot of born-agains there. And again, I honor the differences. I'm well-versed in all religions. I was raised very Catholic, and I love God. I mean, that's what it's all about. I love spirit. You know, it's really popular now to make God popular. So I teach them this because I've worked with many people at many levels of cancer, the appearance of cancer. It's cancer, by the way, is to see the answer. See the answer. I got that from Dr. Keneally, which I honor her for that. So what I teach them to do is that if they're carrying anyone, worrying about people, because a lot of them do, in the studies they found that cancer, it's like perhaps 7 years before trauma that's happened. And it takes a while for tumors to show up and all. So it's like to be able to release people, here's a beautiful way. You imagine your spiritual source, be it an angel, be it however God shows up for you, be it Jesus the Christ, be it Buddha, however, whatever God, the infinite, looks like to you, be it the light. And you just feel the energetic person if you're caring and worrying about someone. If you're going, have you ever done that? You go over and over in your mind, you worry, don't know what to do, you want to help them, you want to do it for them, right? Well, see, that doesn't help your body system, right? So what's good to do is to take them and sweep the energy out and give them to your divine source. Let go. Let God take care of them. God knows more. God in you knows it, but you might be still in your little self, right? So you want to let go, let God, free yourself. So there's some ways in which you can walk in the harmony of God within and honor the differences. Honor the differences. So I challenge you for this week to be able to really be aware and this week to see how am I being God in action, you know? Like, what would God do? Or what would Buddha do? What would Jesus do? You know, to remember, to be mindful of that in your daily activities. And then to be aware of if you're making the space within you to be able to embrace or to be tolerant, to accept, and to celebrate each individualized center. Because, there's that which in all of us, like so beautifully said in the prayer, the circumference of God is infinite. There's no ending. So we're always in the center. We're always in the center. So make room, make space within yourself so you can see and honor the difference in others. So if we are to know God, we need to penetrate deeply, deeply within, for we alone can know of that experience. And that will give us this exquisite mirror. First thing I ever read from Science and Mind textbook was Ernest Holmes saying life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. That was the turning point and page in my life. So I honor you all, and I say, go out and keep your fire lit. Go and be the light and the effervescent light of God, and honor differences. Find the ways that you can make a difference, that you can go all the way, and be your best. That's what you're here for. Be the love, be the light, be the intelligence. And if the inner critic comes up, just say, thank you. Maybe I can do better next time, but I'm being it the best I can now. So I just give you so much love and just see that light. I want to assist you to light your fire even brighter. May God be the center of your life and bring you more joy than you can imagine. For everything gets better and better all the time. Life is good all the time. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome.
Wonderful.